Steve Angeli has got to be productive for Syracuse to win this game, but he doesn't have to be superhuman. Let's break it all down.
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Locked On Syracuse. I'm Jackson Holzer, and thank you for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We are always free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And on this week's Poll Friday, I asked you all the question, who do you think Syracuse's MVP will be this Saturday against Tennessee at noon Eastern for the season opener of college football down in Atlanta, Georgia? And you guys voted. We'll break it all down here on today's show. The Orange entered tomorrow's action as 13.5-point underdogs over on FanDuel. They are going to need not one, but probably multiple MVPs in order to win this game. And I understand that MVP means one player, but you get my point. Syracuse football is going to need a lot of big performances, a lot of guys to step up and showcase maybe what they have not showcased before in order for this team to knock off Tennessee down in Atlanta, Georgia. But I gave you all three choices, mainly, and then the final one is other on this week's Poll Friday. The first choice, Steve Angeli, the new quarterback for Syracuse football, a transfer from Notre Dame. You got Jonte Cook, a Texas and Washington transfer, expected to be the starting slot receiver. We broke down on the matchups podcast that he's got to win his matchup in the slot against whoever is covering him, whether it's Boo Carter or his backup on Saturday. Devin Grant, a returning safety for Syracuse football. Reason why I included him in this poll, he made the critical defensive play against Miami last year that led to that upset. And finally, other, which is self-explanatory, any other player not listed above. And the results are in. There were about 400 votes on this week's Poll Friday. Steve Angeli won the vote at over 40%, followed by Jonte Cook. Other came in third, and Devin Grant came in fourth. No surprise, Steve Angeli is the quarterback of Syracuse football. Quarterback is the most valuable position in football and arguably in all of sports. So I agree. Steve Angeli has got to be Syracuse's MVP in order to beat Tennessee. And if you think about it, this is Steve Angeli's moment. This is it for him. He has been in college for 3 years. He was a former 4-star recruit, played at Notre Dame, but he never really got an opportunity at Notre Dame to be a full-time starter. He did start one game back in 2023. That was in the Sun Bowl against Oregon State. He played quite well. But in 2024, Notre Dame did not roll with Steve Angeli as the starting quarterback. But still, Angeli filled in at times for Notre Dame, particularly when the games were out of hand, because Notre Dame is a really, really good team. But he also made one huge appearance in the college football playoff last year in the semifinal game against Penn State, where Riley Leonard comes out due to concussion protocol. In comes Steve Angeli at the end of the first half, and he led Notre Dame to a field goal drive. But this is really his first shot to be a full-time starter, and he's not getting a cupcake in week one. He's not getting Colgate in week one. That's in week 3. He's not getting what Syracuse had to face last year, which was actually not a bad Ohio team. No. You're getting Tennessee in Atlanta, Georgia, a defense that over the past couple of seasons has been among the nation's best. The big key for Steve Angeli, and we've talked about this a lot on the show over the past week, is that he has got to make quick decisions against this Tennessee front. This offensive line for Syracuse, just like Tennessee, but we're only going to talk about the Syracuse angle here because we're talking about Steve Angeli. The offensive line for Syracuse is going to be brand new. And I expect that there's going to be some growing pains against a Tennessee front that is highly experienced and also highly effective. But Steve Angeli has to help the offensive line help him, meaning he can't be sitting in the pocket holding onto the football for more than just a couple of seconds. If he does that and he gets sacked, that's on him. He has got to make decisions very quickly. Again, help the offensive line help you. That is the big key for Steve Angeli. Go back to Kyle McCord last year at Syracuse when he set all those ACC records, right? Amazing quarterback. What made him effective for Syracuse? He was accurate, sure. NFL caliber arm, sure. But to me, what separated him from a lot of quarterbacks in the country is his ability to simply read a defense pre-snap, know where he's going with the football pre-snap for the most part, and getting rid of it on time, making a decision quickly. It's why Syracuse's offensive line, you look at their run block splits and their pass block splits, they're vastly different. They were not good in run blocking last year, but in pass protection, well, Kyle McCord actually didn't get sacked all that much. His sack rate was actually pretty low relative to the amount of passing attempts he had last season. In large part, was it because the offensive line was so much better in pass protection? Not really. It was more about Kyle McCord getting rid of the ball quickly. You get rid of it quickly, all of a sudden, you're not going to make that Tennessee front is all of a sudden not going to be as good. Simple as that. Make quick decisions if you are Steve Angeli, because if not, he's going to get sacked 5-6 times in this one, and it's not going to be pretty for Syracuse football. Who do you think Syracuse's MVP will be tomorrow against Tennessee? Comment your thoughts in the comments section below. For the most part, you voted and said Steve Angeli. I agree. This is his moment. This is his opportunity, and he's got to get rid of the football quickly. But I want to hear from you in the comments section below. But coming up, I don't think Steve Angeli has to be superhuman to win this game, because I'm going to talk about another player who is very, very important for the Orange, possibly pulling off an upset. So stick with me here on Locked On Syracuse. College football is back, and I could not be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's just nothing like it. But let's be real, actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at the checkout, right? You go to buy a ticket, it's $100. Okay, that's fine, no worries. All of a sudden, you get to checkout, it's $170. Where did all those fees come from, right? That's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. I pulled up Gametime, and in just a couple of taps, I saw amazing deals for Syracuse and Tennessee down in Atlanta, Georgia. The app makes it super simple. I could even see the exact view from my seat before I buy. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, download Gametime today. Hey, Locked On Syracuse fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited promo code FOOTBALL and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes. And you can too. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code FOOTBALL for a limited time 25-cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code FOOTBALL. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. No doubt Steve Angeli is going to have to be really good in order for Syracuse to win this game. but he doesn't have to be superhuman for the Orange to actually upset Tennessee. Let's talk about last year a little bit again. Kyle McCord and the upset against the Miami Hurricanes. Kyle McCord in that game went 26 of 36, which is a 72% completion percentage, by the way. 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. So here's my question for you all. Do you agree with me or disagree with me on this? Do you think Steve Angeli is going to have that type of performance for Syracuse to beat Tennessee? Comment your thoughts in the comment section below, because honestly, Tennessee and Miami are two very different teams when you look at this Tennessee team to last year's Miami team. Last year's Miami team was actually very similar to Syracuse. We knew they were going to put a lot of points up on the board with Cam Ward, which means we knew that Kyle McCord was going to have to essentially match Cam Ward. But we also knew that Miami's defense was not all that great. It was still top in the ACC, but not very good. Whereas when you look at Tennessee, their offense has a little bit of questions, but their defense is very, very sound. So when I look at Steve Angeli, I don't necessarily think he's going to have to go toe-to-toe with Joey Aguilar like Kyle McCord had to do against Cam Ward last season. So beyond just Steve Angeli, Syracuse's MVP, I'm actually going with other here. Not Jonte Cook, not Devin Grant. No doubt those guys are going to have to be really good. I want to avoid using full units. I think that's kind of a cheat code, like, oh, the offensive line has to be the MVP for Syracuse or the defensive line for Syracuse. No, not necessarily. I want to go with one player here. Dion Tank Wilson. He's got to make his presence felt along the interior defensive line for Syracuse in order for this team to pull off an upset against Tennessee. Because as of right now, at the time of this recording, the question that's been on my mind really the entire week is, what is stopping Tennessee from going out there and just running the ball 30 times up the gut against Syracuse? What's stopping them from doing that? Tennessee, under Josh Heupel, has been very, very good at running the football, among the best in the nation seemingly every single year. Syracuse last season was awful against the run. And we've talked about this so many times on this show. Dion Tank Wilson in the interior defensive line for Syracuse might be their best run defender. He's going to have to play like it on Saturday and probably even more. I think us Syracuse fans, we have a lot of high hopes for Dion Tank Wilson this season. Last year, he was kind of limited due to injuries, played the first 4 games, missed the rest of the year, came back for the Holiday Bowl. Right? But he was good when he played. Tennessee, though. Can he do it against Tennessee? Can he help slow down the Tennessee running game? Because if Syracuse can't, if Tennessee's going to go out there and run for 200-300 yards, I don't see how Syracuse really wins this game. I would rather take my chances with a new quarterback in Joey Aguilar there, beating Syracuse, rather than Tennessee running it 30 times up the gut. It's a pick your poison type thing. My poison is Joey Aguilar. That seems to be the consensus among Syracuse fans. It doesn't mean that Joey Aguilar is bad, but I want to also bring your attention to this. Think about last year, again, the upset against Miami. That Miami team was a good matchup for Syracuse. They really like to throw the football. And so Syracuse didn't necessarily have to worry about stopping the run, even though Miami was really good at running the ball. Now, they also lost to Boston College because they gave up 300 rushing yards to Boston College last year. And if you recall, that's the game where Thomas Castellanos got benched and left the team. Now he's starting for Florida State tomorrow against Alabama. He's in for a rude awakening in all likelihood. Syracuse football has got to at least contain the run in order to have a chance against Tennessee. The good news for Syracuse is that with Dion Tank Wilson, they might have a chance. There's hope if you're a Syracuse fan. And I want to bring your attention to last year against Georgia Tech. And before Tennessee fans sit here and say, well, Georgia Tech's not very good. They're not Tennessee with running the football. Georgia Tech last year against Georgia at the end of the season ran for 260 yards. That was a really, really strong running team in Georgia Tech. But Syracuse held them to 112 on the ground. And by the way, like, that's a good number for Syracuse football. We're not asking Syracuse against Tennessee to hold them under 50 yards rushing or 75 yards rushing, something that's completely unrealistic. You just can't have Tennessee go out there and run for 200-300 yards. That's all we're really asking for here. So Syracuse, they held Georgia Tech down to 112 rush yards in that game. And that was a week after they gave up over 260 to Ohio. And not Ohio State, Ohio in the MAC conference. So Syracuse at times last year, especially with Dion Wilson, showed that they can at least slow down a high-powered running game. Now, overall, if we want to bring this all full circle here, I've already said it multiple times on this show. And I want to be wrong about it because I'm a Syracuse alum. I'm a Syracuse fan, but I want to be honest with myself and to you. Right? It's all about authenticity here. I'm giving you my thoughts and opinions. Okay. I'm picking Tennessee to win 31-20 in this one. I want to be wrong about it, but I think Tennessee in their running game, they're going to get that established. They're going to run for at least 150, even more against Syracuse football. Joey Aguilar is going to do just enough for Tennessee to win the game. I do think Syracuse does keep it close, but Tennessee wins 31-20. Comment your score prediction in the comments section below. And again, I just want to reiterate one more time here on Locked On Syracuse. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. Okay. I'd rather be wrong and happy than right and miserable. Now, tomorrow on the podcast, we have a full post-game reaction to Syracuse and Tennessee at noon Eastern. I want to be in a cheerful mood for that podcast. And I'm sure you Syracuse fans want to be in a cheerful mood as well. And one last time, comment your thoughts in the comments section below. Syracuse's MVP for Saturday against Tennessee. It's another big moment here on Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts, a college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season only on Fire TV. Folks, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, be sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoy the podcast, be sure to hit subscribe and tell all your friends about Locked On Syracuse, and I will see you all again soon.